7 guard is a guard used that isn't talked about quite enough. Today in our deep dive, we're going to look at the position and some sweeps that go along with it, as well as the fundamentals. Let's get into the video and see how we can use the 7 guard to help us in our jiu-jitsu game. The 7 guard looks similar to X guard. We want to have our legs attacking his opposite leg. And when I do this, I'm having both shins against one leg instead of having one knee behind his butt from the X guard. I want to have one shin down towards the bottom of his leg, catching right around the calf, and I want to have the second leg up higher right above the knee. I also want to make sure to flare my legs. This will make it much harder for my opponent to push my legs down and to prevent them from passing my guard. My arm works similar to the X guard where I'm pulling their leg and I want to bring their leg above my shoulder. By having the leg above my shoulder, it allows me to stretch my opponent's posture. This will make it much easier for future sweeps. If you're finding it difficult to remember where to place your shins, remember that it should look like a 7. That's why it's called the 7 guard. My left leg and my right leg create the pattern of a 7, and that's how I know I have the correct position. Now that we understand the position, let's get into the first sweep. The first one is the single leg, and it starts by extending our opponent. Once we have 7 guard, we should always be looking for more control. I use my left hand to grab his sleeve and I'm pulling it down. From here, I'm looking to extend his legs. I keep his left leg high by my shoulder while I push with the opposite legs. Once I get him extended, I then take my feet out from 7 guard to go onto his knee to get some extra extension. I then start standing up and I clamp above his kneecap. Once I pull him down towards the mat, I can start to take his back. Controlling the leg above the shoulder is extremely important. We need to be able to control this because this is the leg we're going to attack with the single leg. If he is able to free his leg while I extend him, we're going to have to move on to a different attack because he's going to be able to escape this move and it will all be for nothing. Make sure to grab the gable grip tightly above the kneecap once you have him so you can break down his posture and he won't be able to escape. The knee work and footwork is also important. We want to make sure that we extend him first with our shins before we transition to using our feet. If we move too quickly and we just take our feet out immediately, we're abandoning our guard. It's going to be very easy for them to pass this position, so we always want to be able to extend them first with the shins and then take the feet out, and then we can push on the knees with our feet. The next sweep pairs excellently with the single leg. We always want to be able to extend our opponents and then have separate attacks if the first one doesn't work out. For this one, we're going to be using the knee pull to tip them over. We start off the same way. We're first entering in 7 guard and we're looking for sleeve control. We always want sleeve control because it allows us to pull our opponent down. This will break their posture and it'll make the sweeps easier. From here, I'm looking to flare and extend my shins exactly like I did with the single leg. However, instead of pulling my feet out, I'm going to tip his knee back. This knee tip is the same leg that I have controlled up by my shoulder. It's important that once I've already started to extend his legs, I need to use my neck and head to help steer the leg in the right direction. I don't want him to step over my head and to negate the sweep. Once I have my head in the correct spot, I'm pulling backwards and I'm waiting for him to land. I don't want to rush anything. I would hate to get caught in a submission as soon as I got the sweep. We sit out here in base camp until we can decide where we'd like to go. Flaring the knees is also crucial. Since we aren't extending him as far as we were on the first part of the single leg sweep, we have to make sure that we keep our right knee high into his thigh. By doing this, he won't be able to step over or to be able to backstep once he's attempting to stop this knee pull. As we land, I'm controlling every part of him. I'm controlling his sleeve and both of his legs. I want to elevate his right leg in this scenario and try and go under the leg. I kick his leg over my head so I can move into the side control position. This is always easier said than done compared to drilling in a live roll, but those fundamentals will really help you out when you hit this sweep in a real situation. The last sweep I'm going to show today from 7 guard is my favorite one. This is the ankle grab. We should never forget that our opponent has 2 ankles that we can use. If they don't want to get extended and they're keeping a tighter base, we may as well grab the second ankle and use it for a sweep. Let's go over this one. If you haven't been paying attention up to this point, let me tell you a really important detail once again. We have to flare our legs. Flaring our legs is crucial for 7 guard and is no different for this sweep. Once we have our opponent's leg flared, we're looking to reach their ankle. If their sleeve isn't available, that doesn't mean we shouldn't attack something else. We can use our 7 guard to pull his leg in. This will make it much easier for us to reach his ankle. Once we can reach the ankle, the sweep is actually pretty generic. We just have to pull the leg in and flare our legs. From here, I'm looking to get my shoulders and hips off the mat. This will give us some extra power as sweeping him over, and then we can land in this safe position once again. I want to be able to make sure I can control him until I can decide where I'd like to go. I'm elevating his leg and then I'm moving under it and moving into the side control position. Keeping him extended as we land is crucial. We want him extended so he cannot sit back up or he can re-guard in any way. By keeping his hips split, we can spend more time deciding where we'd like to go. The first path I chose is moving around his right side into the side control. My other option I can take is after the sweep, I want to hold him in this position, but I'm actually going to put his left leg over me and then work towards his back. I want to maintain the back of the collar grip as well as pan control so I can pull him into me. Now that we've covered 3 excellent sweeps from 7 guard, let's get into the real power of the 7 guard, the transitions. Transitioning from 7 guard is so simple, and the 3 common positions we can hit are 7 guard, X guard, and single X guard. These all work when our opponents are above us, but it puts so many different sweeps or attacks in our arsenal. I hold my opponent's sleeve as I'm looking to control him and switch guards. I'm currently in the 7 guard and I'm moving into X. I take my top right knee and I'm pulling it out so I can fold it in to cover his back step. My bottom shin moves up to the old 7 guard position. To move from X guard to single X, I take my right leg out, bring it around his leg, and I bring my left shin into his inner thigh while I lift my hips and shoulders off the mat. To go from single X to 7 guard, I first take my right leg off and I take my inner thigh off him as well. I bring both shins in at the same time and I immediately flare. The last transition to cover is from 7 guard immediately into single X. I push both legs forward and then I quickly roll up onto my shoulders so I can bring my right leg around his leg and I bring my left shin in to his inner thigh to establish single leg X. This concludes our beginner's deep dive into the 7 guard position. There are a lot more advanced concepts with the 7 guard, such as transitioning from deep half into 7 guard, or how to react when somebody's shoving their weight down on you, such as putting their knee in your face, but those will have to be moves for a different time. If you appreciate the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really like doing these deep dives, so I appreciate all the views that I get, comments, and any other questions you have about the technique. If something doesn't make sense, make sure to ask me. I'll definitely help out. Also, thank you to all my current Patreon members. If you like to see the moves that I do have extra moves on Patreon. They have less editing, but it's still my techniques. So if you want to see new moves that aren't taught at your gym, make sure to subscribe to be a member on my Patreon account. Thanks for watching.